Hey, I'm Ferg, and I'm here with Alejandro Suntay, a growing automotive live streamer, breaking into the drifting scene, both digitally and corporeally. How you doing, Alejandro? What's going on, man?
Corporeally.
Yeah,
Yes, in this
I'm
mortal
in the
coil, I
flesh. Yeah.
engage in the skids. Yes,
Yeah, I've been known to skid physically as well as spiritually. Um, how you doing? How you doing, man? What's going on?
multi-spiritual drifting, my
That's what's
dude.
up. That's what's up.
I'm doing very good. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
really excited to be here. Excited to talk content with you and maybe answer some questions and deep dive into something that we're both very passionate about, content creation.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, that's a really good question. Not a lot of people ask that question, surprisingly.
Mm.
So, about 16 years ago, uh, I used to stream like movies and stuff on Skype, totally illegal, by the way, for my friends,
Yeah.
and we would just do like little watch parties, right? And obviously, being a gamer, I was like, oh, what if I, stream my gameplay? So there was a program back in the day, called Xfire. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, loosely.
Yeah, so Xfire was like a precursor to Steam, kind of. But it allowed for broadcasting. You could stream your screen, you could stream your gameplay, and people could watch it, right?
Yeah.
Um, then with the advent of Justin TV, I was like, huh, maybe I'll try streaming on there, you
There you
know?
go.
So yeah, started streaming on Justin TV. This was probably about 14, 15 years ago, whenever that shit came out. Um, And then when Justin TV became Twitch TV, I started streaming on there. I was a pioneer of the Duo PC format because my computer
Oh,
sucks so much fucking butthole that like yeah, I had to use two PCs to stream. I had like a Best Buy capture card
oh, nice.
at the time. Yeah, this was in the Q9300, Q6600 days. Yeah, and so I started playing Dota 2 um 2012.
Sorry to hear that.
Uh, yeah, no, it was about ten years ago, and that's when I truly started
Okay.
streaming. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like that. So you've been definitely even before kind of live streaming was a known entity, should I say?
Mm.
Um, right. That sounds about right. Like you definitely started back. I mean, again, before even Justin TV is wildly early. I remember only hearing just tangential things about Justin TV, but I didn't really catch on for me in my sphere until Twitch Plays Pokemon kind of took the limelight
Right,
from
right.
everything
It was
else.
about 8 years ago, I think now,
Yeah,
7 years ago.
that would
Yeah, yeah.
probably been 20, yeah, 12, 13, somewhere in there. Um,
Um,
oh,
so
when was
when
that? Yeah.
in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there was Justin TV. There was a couple of Japanese sites that did like live streaming and stuff, and owned TV or owned 3D TV.
Huh.
um, which I think is now an like an overlay slash uh like stream agent like
That's cool.
platform. But yeah, Own 3D used to be a streaming platform similar to Justin TV.
Huh.
But Own TV was more, I guess, geared towards games and gaming, and Justin TV back then was more geared towards just live stream, right? So there's
Right.
like a lot of people that would just like go on there and do like what is now just chatting.
Huh.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then when Twitch came about, Twitch focused only on gaming. And so you used to be able to get banned for non-gaming content. So, yes, I am a Twitch partner for the past 6 years, but
Nice.
I also have 17 bans on my account
Nice.
uh, due to non-gaming content, falling asleep on streams. Sleep streams are actually a legitimate thing on Twitch now. Doing just chatting content, hanging
Yeah.
out with people and stuff. That was a bannable offense. Playing guitar on stream got banned for that.
Huh.
Um, non-gaming content again. Yeah, so it was
Dang.
a different place. It was a different place for sure.
That's really interesting. 17 bands. That's amazing. Still kept going.
Yeah,
Um
still here. I've been
uh
on a ton of different platforms.
yeah.
I was the largest streamer on Beam.pro, which became Mixer.
I have a member
And it
mixer. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
That's
until Shroud and Ninja got signed, I was the biggest streamer on that platform for 89 days in a row.
there you go. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, yeah. And
wild.
then I also dipped my toes with oh god, Hitbox. I think it was called Hitbox or
Hitbox.
Hit. Ah, fuck. What was it called?
That sounds
Yeah, I think
right.
it was hitbox.tv.
Yeah.
I would go there when I get banned from Twitch. Yeah, so yeah, I've done a lot of
Huh.
live streaming. Anyways, yeah.
That's fantastic. No. I'm interested in this. When it comes to like the bannable offenses, I know there's a lot of great variety, and Twitch has changed even in the last 3-4 years greatly with what they allow on their platform and various content sources. But within those bannable offenses, like how easy was it to get unbanned, or did you just have to start over? Like what was the vibe like with that?
It really depended on the severity. Back then, there was no like account verification or anything, so like making an account was as simple as, spoof an email, make a new
Sure.
account. Not that I'm advocating ban evasion, but you know, that was what it was.
Yeah.
Different time, right?
Right.
Uh, Generally, depending on the severity, you would get banned from anywhere between 24 hours and to, a week.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did a really bad naughty, just make a new account, right?
Yeah.
Um, Bans back then were just like, haha, funny. And now bans are
Right.
like, oh, you really kind of, fucked up, right? You did something that you shouldn't do. So, I
Yeah.
would say it's, a little different now. But yeah, back then, nobody really fucking cared at all. Like,
I
it was
know
just
what
like,
you mean.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of wild westy in that regard.
Oh, very. I mean, it still is. I would argue that content creation is in the same place as television was, uh, you know, maybe in the 60s,
Yeah.
70s.
No, that's a good take. I know I've been every now and again I go out of my way to watch shows that were not at all related to me or in any way within my sphere.
Right.
One of the shows I stumbled onto was called My Father suggested it to me, gave it a shot. It's the second show that Sally Field from Sally Field, she's a wonderful actor, did a bunch of things.
Right, right.
Most notably, she was in what's that one called? Oh my god, it's got Burt Reynolds. I've got it.
Groundhog Day?
No, good movie though. She's in that. Yeah, she is, isn't she? But anyway.
I'm doing some
Oh,
doing some
oh,
Googling.
1977. Smokey and the
77?
Bandit.
Okay.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Ah, yeah. Great movie.
Great movie, phenomenal movie. It's
A
up there with
classic.
Airplane for me. I really love that movie.
Okay, that's a weird take, but all right.
I mean, it's that
Well, we'll
same
leave
kind
that for
of.
later.
Well, yeah, sure. Okay, it's that same kind of like irreverent stuff where you go, you probably couldn't do it, but boy, is it funny.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
for
God
sure.
it was
Yeah,
made.
yeah, yeah.
But she's in the
It
show.
was a different time.
Yeah,
It was a
for
different
real.
time.
In the '60s, called The Flying Nun. And it came out.
Flying
Yeah,
Nun.
The Flying
All
Nun. I think
right.
it's on like Tubi TV or one of those free, just watch what you want kind of services. It's not a bad time. The thing about it that kind of blew my mind is the very first episode not only includes like a musical number, but it has so many different kind of styles and genres mixed into it that you could tell that they were just trying to make something for this format, and they didn't. It wasn't necessarily cracked. There wasn't a way to like
Right.
make a show. They were like, I don't know, I guess it has a musical number in it because that's what you do. And it was really quite interesting. It's an okay time. I'd recommend a watch of an episode, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I feel that though about like Twitch. There's not the only wrong way to do Twitch, I suppose, is to not do Twitch. You just kind of give it a shot and see what sticks. But that's
This
yeah,
is this. Okay, hold on. I just
yeah.
have to read the overview. Sister Betrayal could be relied upon to solve any problem that came her way by her ability to catch a passing breeze and fly.
Yep.
This was generally attributed to her weighing under 90 pounds, which is 41 kilograms for our European listeners.
There you
High winds at the convent, high on the ocean bluffs, and the large, heavily starched cornet that was the headpiece
Yeah.
for her habit.
Yeah. 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 She just fly away and just be whisked off to some unknown place to solve an issue and then fly on back. It was quite fantastic
Okay.
in the broadest sense of the term. It's pretty funny. It's not a bad time.
Sure, yeah, I'm gonna give it a watch now.
Yeah, but I like that though.
The opening
Uh-huh.
theme was titled "Who Needs Wings to Fly."
I feel that.
All right, I
like
dig
that.
that.
Who
That's
needs wings to
respectable.
fly? I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's interesting to note that this also kind of coincides with the start of kind of commercial flights becoming available. My flights have been around since the 50s, but 60s, 70s is really when flying became more of a
Right.
thing too. That's kind of fun.
Oh, good to
Um,
know. This originally was a black and white,
yeah.
uh, and then became one of the first colored shows.
Yep.
Wow,
Definitely
that's pretty
ran that
cool.
kind of gamut. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It runs in a very interesting time period within TV. Um, and I think one aspect of media, one thing that I quite find engaging, I
Hmm.
don't know if there's any way this plays into content creation and whatnot, but I really like how in the early days of TV, before the 80s, before cable, anything like that, television stopped. At 10 p.m., the national anthem playing in the U.S., and someone said, "That's it, signing off." And then it was just rainbow bars until 10 a.m. the next day. And there was no more TV. You know?
Yeah, I never really watched TV like growing up.
Yeah,
I didn't have a TV set.
sure.
Like our family was like too poor. Uh, and so I guess the majority of my TV watching was like late night infomercials and whatever, like
Nice.
random late night productions. Um, and that just seems so wild to me at a time. What, like, you just think about that for a sec, right? Like now we have the amount of media uh that you can consume at any time,
Oh, yeah.
any place, anywhere. Doesn't matter, on your phone, on a TV,
Yep.
on your laptop. But to think of a time when there was just nothing playing, there was no media, no radio, no TV.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just
Like,
things stopped and
okay, it's
that
10
was it.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Like,
Go
go
talk
to
to your
sleep
family
now.
or something. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
crazy.
yeah,
Honestly, like insane.
no, it's pretty bananas. Yeah, I find that quite interesting. Yeah, in terms of kind of like in terms of that sort of thing, like how okay, one of the things that I think we're here with video games now is with the idea that you can't really play every major game released in a
No,
year
it's impossible.
any longer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Up
and a lot of it is games as a service too.
sure.
It's not like a,
Yeah, they don't
because like,
stop.
yeah, because like, okay, so N64 era, right?
Yeah, big fan.
You would buy a game and you would play the game, and the game existed only, I guess, like individually,
Right.
in its own kind of realm, and you'd play the game, and maybe you'd play it with a friend, and it would provide a different experience or whatever, or like
Sure.
maybe it had a multiplayer component, but there was no online play, there was no games as a service,
Yeah.
and so you would play a game or whatever, and you'd revisit it over and over again. But now
Mhm.
you play a game for 6 hours, and you're like, oh, that was fun. Okay, bye.
Yeah, they just
Right,
shelve
and
it.
then like
Yeah.
a DLC comes out. You're like, oh, maybe I'll play this game again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No, I feel that. One thing about that era that I found quite engaging is not only you didn't necessarily have to buy a game, you could just go down to the Blockbuster, or you had a friend who
oh
had
yeah,
a
yeah,
copy and you
rent a
just
game. I
yeah.
mean, shit. You do you even rent movies anymore? Can you even rent
You
movies anymore? Like,
can at like a Redbox or something like that. You know those little I don't know.
oh, sure, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
at the hotel or
sure.
whatever.
Yeah, those sort of things.
Yeah, but who has
Um,
a fucking DVD player anymore?
yeah. Only reason I even have
Like,
any DVD player is just physical consoles, but
yo,
without
remember
those,
Laserdisc?
I am proud to report that I don't like Star Wars, even though I've had the great pleasure of seeing the theatrical cuts on Laserdisc as it was released in
No.
legit. I've seen the original
What?
trilogy in the original format without his stuff, and I still don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, a little bit more, I guess, about me. So
Yeah.
my undergraduate degrees were in film and literature,
There you go.
and yeah, as a film major, quote unquote,
Yeah.
I think Star Wars is fucking stupid.
Oh yeah.
And so the fact that you didn't like it, even watching the quote unquote director's cut,
Yeah. Or
uh,
or just like
is
without
very
any of his
believable.
edits. Yeah, yeah. Because like
Yeah.
in post, anytime you get it on DVD now and Blu-ray, he adds all this stupid 3D stuff, just like CG animated things to it that don't add anything. They just are there because he can, you know. So
Maybe that's content now. Like, let's deep dive that real quick.
yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
for
spend
it.
5 minutes on that.
What do you reckon?
Is content now just people doing shit because they can, and not necessarily about the quality of the content? Like, for example, right? uh Instagram filters or
Sure.
TikTok filters,
Sure.
right? It, it doesn't really add anything to the, I would say, like the inherent quality of the content.
Right.
And it's more like an accentuation or a decoration even. Is content nowadays just people making it because they can and not because there's a point to it?
Sure. I guess the broader discussion there comes down to what is the form and function of media to begin with.
Very
So
well phrased.
with something like TikTok, I think it comes down to platform specifics, what you're looking for. With something like TikTok, the entire goal of that is to watch something overproduced for 30 seconds to give you brain juice and then you move on to the next one. Which is not to diminish the joy of TikTok, but it is to say TikTok is basically hyper condensed internet algorithm poured into your eyes, and then you move on, and then you move on, right? There's no way to engage with it in the long term because that's not what it wants. Um, but with something like Twitch, you can watch something on Twitch that's very quick and dirty. That you hop in, hop out. That was
Right.
fun to watch. Like you watch
Right.
somebody play, I don't know, some beat 'em up, and you watch a couple rounds of that. When they lose, then you just move on, like a quarter eater kind of thing. Or you can get
Right.
invested in someone in the long term. Say, okay, I want to see what this streamer is going to do down the road. I like what they're doing. But I think on Twitch, the goal is going to be that longer term engagement versus TikTok, which is content for content's sake. This also ties into notions of social media and how social media has put the power of content creation in the hands of the people being anyone with any kind of smart device can make content for anyone else. And so it has decentralized that power, but it does allow for some novel content that would normally not get made.
Yeah, like the okay,
Yeah.
okay. Perfect example, case in point. Uh all of the parody videos of that girl like recording herself and then she like stands up and then like hits her back on like the banister like railing and then goes like ow and then it like launches into like a song that's like on the same key like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff I find hilarious
Yeah.
and I hate myself for it.
Yeah.
But I could watch those all day because they're all the same format, but they're all a little bit different.
Sure.
So you just like keep watching. You're like, oh, dude, this is really funny, dude. You know?
Sure.
Sorry. No, as an
No.
aside, I think that you know, with content being the way that it is today, right?
Right.
And Vine essentially destroying uh the medium of
Oh, it really did.
yeah. Well, so like Vines, I feel like can be single-handedly attributed to destroying the American attention span. Like, I'm down to argue that
Oh
whenever,
man,
by the way.
Vine.
But
Ooh, I like that.
you like
Yeah,
that?
I mean
Yeah, that's
Vine's
pretty good.
interesting. I ran tangential to Vine. It was never something that I gravitated to. I had friends and
No, but you
peers.
know about it,
Well, yeah,
right?
sure, but
You've
I
watched them.
had friends and peers who did the whole Vine thing. And what I remember about Vine, even living through it, not something that I did at the time, but just interesting, was the overall and like the overarching notion throughout that era of do it for the Vine. You
Yeah, do
know
it for the
that
Vine, dude.
Vine had basically turned people who were not necessarily into content creators, anything like that, be willing to say, "Yeah, I'll do it for the bit." That's fundamentally just saying, "Yeah, dare to be stupid." Make something crazy. Who cares? 7 seconds.
Right.
It's
Do
quite
you think
interesting.
that do you think that that whole do it for the Vine idea became the, I guess, like tipping point for social media and content creation to kind of like make it over to the quote unquote normie realm?
Interesting. Yeah, I would say that because 7 seconds is easy for anyone to mess with.
Right. It's
On
an easy format. It's easy to do.
Yeah,
The
interesting.
concept is easy because before I feel like, okay, so like here's where I'm gonna get into like long form versus like short form
Yeah,
content. But like with long form content primarily, there's scripting, maybe you have to do some casting, you have to think about camera angles, you
sure.
have to think about lighting, you have to think about audio, you have to think about um, you know, all the way up to target demographic,
Right.
what you're gonna title the video, like all these things that like normal YouTube videos kind of go
Yeah,
through, or like longer form content. Wow, YouTube being long form content now, crazy.
it's wild.
Um, but then the whole do it for the Vine thing was like, okay, you're on, do it for the Vine,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
improv,
Yeah.
adapt,
You give it a
make
shot.
something, do something funny,
Right. It's only 7 seconds, you know.
put it out there.
Yeah. Um, I think there's a couple of things at play that come with one, Vine taking off very nicely, and two, short form content kind of taking the thing, and even like hyper produced content in that regard. Because at a certain point, Vine started to get very hyper produced, a lot of quick cuts, a lot of just action going on. Not to the extent of TikTok, but definitely still pretty busy. Um, and I feel like a lot of that comes down to just various cultural things, even before Vine, the rise of like YouTube poops, that kind of absurdist, hyper-produced nonsense using a known entity or like a known
Meme
franchise.
format.
Yeah, meme format's a good way to word it. Even before that, I mean, what kind of sort of pioneered YouTube poops in my eyes is Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh
Uh,
God, yeah, I
Bill
remember
Nye
that.
is just straight up 30 minutes of condensed science nonsense that was maybe 5 minutes of science info, but then you had what is effectively what is going to be the Amanda Show effect of, I guess there's dancing lobsters now, and you just kind of had to let it happen.
Oh man, the Amanda Show.
That's a trip.
Yeah, I remember briefly watching I think like a friend's sister or whatever was like into it, and I just recall thinking this is the most absurd thing I've ever seen, because like think about what was present at that time, right? It was
Yeah.
like even commercials were like they were like a story, right? Like there was coherence in the presentation of media
Let's
at that
see.
time, and then the Amanda Show just brought this like random aspect. Maybe that was the beginning of the ADHD generation. No,
I
seriously,
don't
like
disagree. Let me see. I'm
I don't think I
looking.
even knew what ADHD was back then.
Sure. I feel that. I'm looking at 1990. So Amanda Show started in 99 and ran through 2002. Relatively short-lived, but a heck of a lot of power behind it. Um, Running alongside it were shows like Ed, Edd and Eddie, which I think is
Yep,
phenomenal. That's really funny.
I love that show.
Huge fan. Huge fan.
I my wallpaper is oh gosh. My wallpaper is Ralph dressed up as Goku
I love that.
summoning a spirit bomb. But
That's
the
awesome.
background is like Ed, Edd and Eddie's style.
That's so
Um
good.
yeah,
Oh my god.
I feel like Ed, Edd and Eddie Invader Zim
Oh,
I
big
think is like
fan.
another good one.
Yep.
Um and then you had like, okay, so precursor to that, right?
Yeah.
You had the very weird generation of like Rocco's Modern
Love
Life,
that show. So vulgar.
uh yeah, Ren and Stimpy,
Yep.
content for shock value,
Yeah. All that
right?
even
Cat Dog
Cat
even.
Dog is phenomenal. Huge fan. What was it? There was even just there were a lot of absurdist game shows at that time. A little bit before that, but like what was it? The Hidden Temple, like Olmec the Head or whatever.
Oh,
Like
dude,
there's
I love the Hidden
yeah,
Temple,
and like getting
bro.
slimed and like that entire idea of just like, oops, you're gonna get gooed for something, and it just didn't make any sense, but it simply worked because it did. You know,
Remind me to send you this article. It's kind of weird, but
go for it.
uh it's about, it's essentially deep diving Nickelodeon as child exploitation by like sexual predators or whatever,
Okay.
and like dives into like why their logo is a foot and why so many of the casts of Nickelodeon shows are barefoot on the show, and et cetera, et cetera.
That's a
I
lot.
don't know. I will send that to you. I think that's something you'd be interested in
Send that to me.
later.
That sounds
But
wild.
like,
I'll give that a skim.
yeah, sorry, completely off topic, but I was thinking about like Nickelodeon shows, and I was like, dude, wild.
There are
Anyways,
some weird shows. No.
the world is just so strange nowadays.
It's so
Okay,
different.
wait, Ferg. May I
Yeah.
ask,
Go
do
for it.
you think that the weirdness that exists, right, just like the absurdity of
Sure.
modern day existence, do you think that it was any less or any more absurd than like the past, like the 1600s or something? I mean, like they were doing like fucking like witch hunts and shit, right? Like, so like it was absurd in a different way.
I really
But
want
is
to
that part
see.
of the human condition to just be absurdly weird?
I really want to show the day before he gets pressed for his being a witch in the 17th century, I want to show Giles Corey an episode of like Invader Zim and go, this happens in 300 years.
This is the future.
And he goes, please, more weight. Oh my god. But okay. So in terms of that, I think absurdity's always been there. Like in the 18th century, you had like the tulip craze that kind of took over all of Denmark. That was 17th century,
Denmark.
1636.
Yeah.
You had the
Yeah.
tulip mania. People were like, we need tulips, buy the tulips. And it's like, why do you want tulips so badly? So I think there's always been sort of that. I don't want to say craziness, but there's always quirkiness and wildness throughout. It just comes down to how easy is it to find equally quirky or different individuals in your area or in your
Eccentric.
niche.
We prefer eccentric.
Sure.
Yeah.
Eccentric is valid. But no, I mean, I don't disagree, right? But the idea that it's like using social media is good and bad. There's a lot of positive, a lot of negative. But
Sure.
it is indisputable that it has allowed people to reach people of similar mind or similar hobbies or similar interests in a way that has not been possible before. Before social media, if you wanted people who played games, you go down to the local game store, be it card games, board games, video games. You go to certain
Card games. I love
events.
card games.
They're great. Big card game guy. Love me some coup. Very toxic, stressful. Gotta
We
get
should
that.
definitely play D&D.
Yeah,
sorry,
D&D's fun.
completely
Tabletop's great.
aside.
No,
Yeah,
I love tabletop.
I feel like we'd have a blast. Anyways,
Tabletop's so good. I got stories for that for later. But it's good stuff.
as you
Mhm.
no, as you've been saying, to like continue on with what you're saying.
No, you good.
With games that were primarily physical, so say board games and card
Sure.
games and couch co-op or couch games like Nintendo 64 or PlayStation or whatever, moving into the online realm,
Yeah.
I think one thing that's really interesting, if you want to talk about content creation, you want to talk about community, you want to talk about the general population,
Yep.
is kind of the fomenting, maybe, I don't know if that's the correct word, but like having everything move from physical to digital has made so many more like sub niches and like subcategories of people that enjoy whatever game or whatever content or whatever it is that they enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think I was talking about this the other day with like, okay, the normalization of foot fetishes.
Sure.
Right? Okay, weird take, but hear me out.
Sure.
Because it was like a subculture and was a niche, and I'm going to use this to kind of illustrate my point in terms of content creation.
Yeah.
And people memeing it on social media or whatever, like, oh, dude, free feet, like, show the grippers, like, whatever, you know? And so their subculture has grown even more. So, weird illustration, but in the same way that gaming and streaming and that sort of like traditional, I'm going to say traditional content creation, so like the live stream format,
Right.
has become so popular because I think people finally realize they just like watching other people play games because it's too much effort to play the fucking game.
Yeah. Really can be.
And that has become normalized too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the question is, I guess, or kind of like I'm just exploring this idea, but the question is like, is there gonna be a new format? Like we've gone from like long form to short form to micro form, even if you want to put a name on it.
I don't disagree.
Do you, Ferg, think
Yeah.
there will be a new genre of like live stream content? Because like we've done the, okay, I play a game. Okay, now I watch a person play a game. Okay, now do I watch a person play a game?
Well, yeah.
Right? Like look at Sniper Wolf, for example.
Yeah. That's
Like
interesting.
her entire format is people watching her watch TikToks.
Yeah. That's true.
Right?
That is interesting. Yeah, but React things have been going on for like 20 years.
Fine, bros.
But yeah, like, legit. Like even before that, I mean, it'll just be like someone on news be like, "That's crazy," and then you move on. But yeah, no. Like I think the humorous skeptic in me wants to go, "It's gotta be NFT related." It's not gonna be NFT related. That's here to die. Thank God.
I think NFTs are dead.
They're so funny.
I think it's over.
As a brief aside, I wish I hopped on that craze so I can get my snake oil money, but I didn't. But that's okay.
Yeah, same with crypto,
survive.
dude.
Yeah, no, it's like, man, I could have got that snake oil. But
I just want to let you guys know that are listening to this pilot episode.
Yeah,
Crypto is just astrology for men. Okay, very
That's
sexist comment,
funny.
I
That's
know,
funny.
but uh,
I don't
and
disagree.
NFTs are the as seen on TV of the modern day.
Yeah, that's fair. I my favorite my big stinker is because I read in I ran in the academic area for a good decade plus. You always get some genius out there who will always bring up the Myers-Briggs personality test.
Oh my
They're
god.
so funny. I love them. They make me laugh because it's literally horoscopes for people who are academics. Uh,
Is that a red flag? Okay,
yes,
if you're
yes,
dating somebody, say, and they're like, "Oh, my Myers-Briggs personality test is fucking and
yes.
you're just like, "Okay, cool, but like, who are you really?"
It's a red
Like, would
flag.
you just immediately be like, "Red flag"? As
Uh,
an academic, like, let's say you're dating another academic, for example, right? Like,
as an academic, I would laugh and say, "Go for it," because it scratches the same itch as a horoscope to other people.
sure.
A red flag, no, but it make me roll my eyes. You know, like I talked to some people about it a little while ago, and they were
Right.
like, "Oh, what are you?" And I'm like, "I'm an INTJ," and they go, "Yeah, that tracks." Not because it tracks that I'm an INTJ in whatever weird metric you're using, but in their experience, the only people to even mention Myers Briggs were people who identified with INTJ. So no matter how you cut
That's a
it
good
down,
point, actually.
no
Okay.
no
Yeah, yeah,
matter
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but no matter how you cut it down, it's the same thing as a horoscope. It's like, oh, that's totally what a Cancer would do. It's like, well, no, but I'm glad that shorthand lets you do that. You know,
Just Gemini
um, yeah,
things.
totally Capricorn. I'm like, sure, dog. Like,
Y-
I guess.
Okay.
Um,
Wait. Let's get meta for a sec.
go for it.
I feel that that kind of attitude towards like categorization is inherent to the human
It
condition
is. That's why we
because
have short. Yeah, go for it.
right. Well, no, because I was gonna say because it makes people able to make things make sense in their head and to not think too much about it. In
Yeah,
the same way, I'm gonna tie it back in that short form media or micro form media allows people to gain entertainment without
sure.
actually thinking,
Yeah. No, that's
right?
interesting.
Because they can categorize like, oh, this is already going to be funny. I know what the expected response is. I know how to feel. With long form content, like look at 1990s movies, you know, dark and brooding and
Yeah,
long.
Donnie Darko stuff.
Most were like 2 hours and 30 or 3 hours. Dune was fucking 4.5 hours, right? And when you finish watching it, you don't really know how to feel because they don't really tell you.
Yeah.
Right? Not as the same as a 2022 action movie. You're like, oh, I need to be surprised here. I need to feel thrilled here. I need to feel, oh, this is a romance scene. Okay, I'm, turned on or whatever. And then, the ending, the good guy wins or whatever. And you're like, oh, that was a good feels good movie. Microform content, I feel like fills that same niche because immediately after the first second, you already know what you're going to get. You already know what the
Yeah.
hook is.
That's interesting. I like
Right.
that.
So yeah, in the same way that people use Myers-Briggs or horoscopes or whatever to uh categorize their actions into something that's processable.
Right.
I
Uh,
think that fills that same niche.
I like that. No, that is
Right.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know even just down to the idea of a stereotype, both whatever in the most unloaded sense of the term, a stereotype is just simply what the human mind does. It likes to attribute things to things you already know, and then you can move on. You can always fight against it, do what you can if it's a negative stereotype. But yeah, humans do like to categorize things very quickly and easily because one,
Survival instinct.
yeah, survival instinct, and you can't look at every thing coming into your eye holes at any given time or your ear holes or in any amount of orifice. Mainly because, especially now, there's so much stuff to the left of me in my room. I see so many books and I see so many pictures. I see there's a giant toilet mug on the thing above me. Not a joke. I'm literally staring at a small porcelain throne.
Please put it
And
up on the screen
yeah,
for the viewers at home.
yeah, I will. I'll cut that in. But at the end of the day, I'm not paying attention to that because it's not salient, right? And especially
Right.
today with being bombarded by so many messages at any given time, if we paid attention to everything, our brains would melt. We would just die. Uh, so
Yeah, oversaturation
yeah,
of your input, right?
yeah. But
In the same way that when you have a camera on a very high ISO setting, and you go outside and you turn it on and you get fucking flashbanged, like
yeah,
that's I think what we're at right now with media oversaturation.
sure.
But I will say this, right? So speaking towards like micro form content or short form content, the good stuff really stands out because there's just so much blah,
Yeah, there's a
right?
lot
Like
of
when
blah.
you I believe the term now is brainworms.
Brainworms, I like
I
that.
think that's what people call it. When something's catchy enough that it can just pull your attention away from the blah. Like good example, the little cat video where the cat is like opening his mouth and like there's like some elevator music song playing in the background. It's really catchy. That lives in my head rent free.
yeah,
Honest to God.
yeah. No, I get it. That's so funny. I had that
Like
great.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. No, things are supposed to be, we want catchy. We want things to kind of stick and be easy, to kind of understand and to be quick and dirty. I mean, I know one, that's why four chord songs work so well, is it's very easy to have a pattern that everybody recognizes, and you can just quickly get into the beat and move on.
oh,
Um,
let's talk about music.
but
Keep going.
we can, but even adjacent to that, is the old. I mean, I do mean old, like 16th, 18th century theater tradition, commedia dell'arte. The notion of stock
Explain.
characters. Yeah, so
Explain.
commedia dell'arte, for those at home who are not familiar, is a theater tradition started in, I think, Renaissance or close to Renaissance Italy. My time frames are not entirely there, but the notion of commedia dell'arte is having a bunch of stock characters that are easily recognizable, easy to see. Um,
In the sense of car theater, or
well, yeah, in the sense of like, sure, in the sense of like, yeah, being able to, in the sense of like, it's easy to replicate, easy to understand. So there were a bunch of different lists, like, but there were like 8 or 9 archetypes. This is where like the notion of an archetype even comes from. But you've got Puccinella, who is, I believe, simply a clown, who is just kind
okay,
of known to
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
no, Puccinella might be the thief. Anyway, there's just so many stock characters that have made their way into even modern day. Pierrot or whatever is your
Sure,
kind of sad
Piro, I think is
clown.
the
Yeah,
sad clown.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly, and that comes all the way back from the 16th century, in Italy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like stock characters, easy to replicate, easy to see, is very important, and especially with TikTok. TikTok, there within any what I'm seeing in my own journey messing with TikTok, the different genres of TikTok, even though it's a short form content, changes depending on what your goal is. If somebody's goal
Okay,
is to post, like my goal on TikTok right now is to explore the Twitch stream to TikTok medium and what does that look like. On one
sure,
hand, it feels obvious, oh, make a clip from Twitch and upload it to TikTok and add a song behind it. That
but
works.
really,
Right.
yeah,
Because
completely different.
on paper, you're under a minute, it's short form, of course it's going to work. But with TikTok, it's not about short form because it's short form. It's short form, hyper condensed nonsense that just bombards your senses, and then it's over, and you go, I gotta watch that again. So rather than
Right.
simply moving a clip over with a funny song or something clever added to it, it comes down to even cutting down a 60-minute clip into 30 seconds of just fast nonsense cuts that makes it look like you're watching a Liam Neeson movie. It's like he took 13
Yeah,
cuts to
sure.
jump over a fence. Just jump over the fence, you know? But because the short form content is geared towards that quick, free brain juice, it just has to work. Yeah, it just has to be so quick and dirty. And even I know you've run in the automotive side of
Yeah,
TikTok. Can you speak about that? Like, how does that work?
sure. So there's a lot of different formats that exist in automotive. Generally, it depends on uh I guess the stylistic cues, right? So
Yeah,
there's the hyper overproduced, very well shot, condensed into 30 seconds or so.
sure.
Like say like you have a car and it's just like, a couple rolling shots, a couple static stationary shots,
Hmm.
maybe a shot of it doing a pull. Oh wow, that's a really cool car, looks great,
Right.
right? Then there's the do something crazy, like someone does like a big skid or like whatever, and then that's the shot.
Sure.
And then there's the meme format, which is like generally a stationary car and you're interacting with it somehow and doing a trend. Like, for example, a funny sound clip of somebody making exhaust noises and it's just like your car being there. And
Right.
the final category is hot babe on car or interacting with car of some kind. And you're like, oh, girl, hot, car, cool. Wow,
Sure.
like that. Those
Yeah.
are, I would say, like the four primary genres of the automotive style. And obviously there's subcategories, the off-road, trucks and whatnot, or like street cars or race cars or whatever. um and I would say that's primarily it. The meme format, I think, being the most creative because
Mm-hmm.
you can really engage with your audience through the meme itself and then adapting it to the car culture. um
Yeah.
Brings on a neat sort of I guess like interplay between the two worlds.
Huh. I like that. That is very
So
interesting.
for example, like what let me see here. Scour the depths of
Yeah.
social media.
Sorry to hear that.
So yeah, thank you. Your condolences are appreciated.
Yeah.
Um for example, like there was a really popular sound clip of a really very flamboyantly gay male gay making sound like a sound clip of a car revving and then saying like daddy, like that, right? And
Yeah.
then like that blew up.
Interesting.
Like everybody in the car community suddenly made a clip of uh you know a video of their car
Yeah.
uh with this sound bite,
Huh.
right? And that meme format is just like, it's literally just a dude moaning and then saying daddy. And like for some reason, with the way that the audio was cut, it sounds like a car revving, and therefore people put it in their videos, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. Or for example, like what's another good example? um the one with like the fart sound. Do you remember when the fart sound got really popular for whatever reason? It was like a stock fart sound from like YouTube, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And then like everybody would like put like a video of like a car driving by and then there's just like a little fart at the end, and it was like super fucking funny or whatever,
Interesting.
and it got really popular. But yeah, like,
Interesting.
I would say that's generally, what the automotive social media community I don't think has really found a home yet, because on
Yeah.
Instagram it made sense, right? You had several pictures, maybe a video,
Sure.
and it was like cool, very well done stuff. And then when it moved over to TikTok, because I would say like the car community is not dead on Instagram, but it's a graveyard of fucking boomers trying to hold on to some semblance of social media relevance, right?
Right.
But now that the new generation has taken over, the TikTok generation,
Yeah.
um
Gen Z.
yeah, well, it's not even Gen Z.
Sure.
It's a mix of uh I would say more in the know boomers,
Yeah.
right? In the sense of anybody above the age of 30,
Right.
according to the internet.
Right. Right. The
um
facetious boomer.
yeah, the facetious boomer, the iGens,
Yeah.
and the Gen Z millennials that like kind of grew up on the internet
Mm.
and get the internet,
Right.
versus like the Gen Z millennials that don't really get
Sure.
the internet and they're just like casual users.
Yeah.
So like the power users.
I get it.
Um and those that moved over to TikTok and started making that microform content, uh how I forgot where I was going with this, but like the way that they make their content, I guess, is like it's all about trends now. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the way things are produced or the quality of the production, but it's identifying a trend early and then constantly reposting until it takes off.
Huh.
And that is the format now. And it has nothing to do with it like unique or original or well produced content
Yeah.
in the car world now.
Right.
Right? Like it's not about documentaries, it's not about, magazine quality shoots, it's not about any of that shit. It's just like, funny meme sound. Okay, put it on my car. Okay, now I'm a car influencer.
I feel you.
Yeah. That's what
No,
it is.
I know what you mean.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing
No,
either.
it's just different. It's just a
Yeah,
shift.
it's just different.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things there
More
is
accessible, surely.
yeah, absolutely. The idea of like using it's not even a stock sound, if you will, but like you mentioned that one dude moaning followed by "Oh Daddy" sounded like a car being kind of taken and iterated and moved all across the various videos. Um, bit of a Hail Mary here, but
Sure.
it feels very reminiscent of like something that's ingrained in modern film TV culture, the idea of the Wilhelm scream, the idea that you hear that
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you go, "Oh, I know what that is." You know, it's like, "Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's obviously put in here because everybody knows what that is." Interesting how that kind of
Laugh
stock
tracks.
sound. Yeah, laugh tracks as well, but yeah, but like the sound of like even like the Skyrim door opening or page turning is it's literally a stock sound that's been around before Skyrim, but with the ubiquity of that game kind of just taking over and being released like 8 times in the last decade.
10 times,
Too many
maybe?
times. Too
Too
many.
many times.
It's an
Definitely
okay
too many.
game, but play something better.
More of an Oblivion fan,
Hey, Morrowind, baby, I go back. I go
Morrowind's
back.
great.
Daggerfall's a banger too.
A video that lives rent free.
Yeah.
Speaking of sound bites, uh, I think the video is titled "I play through Morrowind, but every sound is replaced by Tim the Tool Man."
I love that. I haven't seen that.
Uh,
That sounds phenomenal though.
I would spend some time and look it up. Literally every sound in the game is replaced by
I can hear it. I can
and
already see the guy
yeah,
falling out of the sky, hitting the earth, and going, as he hits the ground.
yeah.
That's
Every door
killing me.
opening
Oh
is
my god. And
yeah.
unironically, it probably sounds better than some of the audio in that game.
Oh no, I mean
I love
yeah.
that game.
When was Morrowind?
That was
Morrowind was
2001 or 2, man.
2001. Yeah.
Yeah, I had
Um.
the Game of the Year edition on PC, and that's the game that blew my brain. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. Go look that video up.
That's so
It's
funny. I
it's
love
quality.
that.
And you know what is so funny though,
What's
right? Like
up?
speaking about content creation,
Yeah.
uh, the things that we remember, like in terms of time periods, is now directly associated with memes
Oh yeah.
or like shit posting.
Oh yeah.
Like I can remember what I was doing the first time I saw the Boxy video.
Moxie, see? Oh yeah.
Right. I can remember
Oh man.
the first. I can remember the LAN party I was at with like 4 friends, when we were sharing GI Joe PSAs on a hard drive, an external hard drive.
I'm a computer. Yeah.
Who
Stop
wants
all
a
the
body massage?
downloading. I love
You know,
those.
I can vividly, viscerally remember
Oh yeah.
exactly where I was, what I was doing, how old I was, when I first watched that GI Joe PSA video, and I thought it was the funniest thing
Yeah,
ever.
and it was.
Right? But
Yeah.
now, can you remember when you saw, I don't know, fucking what's a funny meme from nowadays?
Man. I
There's
can't
just
even
so
know
many
any.
bad
There's too
ones,
many.
right?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones, but there's so many bad ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I remember. Do I remember where I was during 9/11? No, I don't. I don't remember at all. But do I remember where I was the first time I saw the YouTube poop of George W. Bush saying, "Now watch this drive"? Yeah, I do. I do remember that.
Right.
And I don't remember where I was during 9/11.
Yeah. I was too young. I was like, what, 4?
Oh yeah, you're a couple years younger than me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was 4. I definitely don't.
But I
Yeah.
still meme, "Now watch this drive." Like it
Yeah.
is the equivalent of "Hold my beer."
I get
Right?
it. Yeah.
For the modern generation.
I get it.
It's the equivalent of "Hi, my name is blank, welcome to Jackass." Like
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
"Now watch
understand.
this drive" is a quality dank meme,
I get it.
as the kids say.
As one does. Um, yeah, I know I am square in the post-ironic use of MLG. I don't think MLG's been relevant for a decade.
Oh
I
God,
can't think
yeah.
the last time MLG had ever done anything in any competitive sense, but like the
I don't know
notion
actually.
of 360 MLG no scope is forever ingrained with like the rise of the air horn and just some
The fucking lasers.
just like
and
some
Mountain
mean
Dew
frog
and
smoking a
Doritos.
blunt or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like just that
Snoop
idea.
Dogg doing the
Yeah.
little thing that he does with
Yeah.
the steering wheel.
As Snoop Dogg's
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
do. But no, yeah, there's the entire notion of like the idea of MLG or some cool clip from Call of Duty that hasn't been remotely in the public eye since Fortnite, like, and
Yeah,
especially
420 no scope, dude. Like,
yeah. I mean, there is an entire achievement in Borderlands, the pre-sequel, where you have to get a 360 crit kill with a sniper called 360 no scope, and that was like 2012. Like that's not even
wow.
can't begin to describe how
That
irrelevant.
meme was probably dead by then.
It was definitely dead, but it's still funny because it's like 360 no scope. It's always funny to me. It's been freaking in my head, you know. It's just something about it.
Mom, get the camera.
Yeah, like I'll do 360 no scopes when I'm playing Zelda or something, where you literally just try to shoot a bow. It's like great, super useless, nothing competitive about it. But yeah, I know what you mean though about like the idea of like these things kind of get stuck in the public sphere. And I remember the era of pinwheel memes, the idea that you could just
Oh,
stick somebody's
fuck.
face on a meme and that was it.
Yeah.
You know, and just
yeah,
iterate
yeah.
on just like the same color backgrounds, but if the
And now
frog
we
was
got
upside down.
deepfakes.
Yeah, now I got deepfakes. That's a whole other thing. But even beyond that, like even Rage Comics made a comeback in the last year.
Oh no.
Yeah, like not Rage
Please
Comics in
leave
the
that
most
format
common sense,
alone. Let it die.
but like you look at the any of the what like Wojak, that's just a Rage comic,
Yeah,
right?
Wojak
Fundamentally is
definitely,
at its core.
definitely, and you see it on Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
Millennials love it,
Yeah.
and it's disgusting because it's the worst fucking format. It's so
Yeah.
bad. Let it die.
But again, those are stock characters that come from the time period of
Sure.
that kind of issue, you know.
So were the people in the 1600s the real memers?
Yeah, probably. They were selling tulips, right? That's what they did.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
love tulips.
Tulips and fucking
Tulips and
know,
opium,
man.
I guess.
Opium, yeah, heroin's
Ooh,
sick.
opium
yeah.
was kicking off then. Opium was getting around.
I feel like that was more towards the 1700s.
Definitely more in there, but the trade was opening up.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Laudanum is
slave
definitely
trade
big.
too.
Well,
yeah, definitely.
Laudanum,
Unfortunately.
big 19th century thing. Love laudanum. But
Hooray!
hooray for opiates! Let's go.
Yeah.
Post-ironic opiates. Don't do opiates.
Don't
but-
not even once.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No worries.
If your doctor assigns you some sort of opiate derivative, do your research.
Yeah.
Get educated.
Oh my god.
You know, it's I guess a personal note. I had a best childhood friend pass away due to opiate addiction.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
It's
it
awful.
affects a lot of people, and you never know until it happens, and you're like, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so get educated. Don't take things that you shouldn't take, and
Yeah. Just
consult multiple physicians.
Definitely.
I guess is all
second,
I'm gonna say.
third opinions are always healthy.
Yeah. Never
Um,
wrong. Never wrong.
No, always worth a shot. I think that about wraps it up. Thanks for
Okay, yeah,
thanks for
hey.
hanging out, Alejandro. I
Good
appreciate
test
that.
run. Excellent.
Yeah,
I feel like I would love to do this again soon. I think.
yeah, likewise. Where can people find you? What are you doing? What's up? What you got going on?
All right. So best place to find me, I'm at Alejandro Suntay
There you go.
on all social media platforms. You can check out my website www.shadowrealm.gg. And if you're of the voice chatting / Discord community
Oh yeah.
type, you can find me at discord.gg/shadowrealm.
There you go.
And I am live primarily 4 to 5 times a week on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Alejandro Suntay. Yeah, if you Google it, you'll figure it out.